Hi, welcome to the Louie File. This is sort of a part 2. I started talking about the flood of Noah and what the world was like prior to the flood and the destruction of mankind on the earth. The Bible clearly tells us that the sons of God came into the daughters of men and produced Nephilim, or giants. The big question was, who are these sons of God and who really are these giants? The one line of thinking is that this is all found in Genesis 6, by the way. In Genesis 6 it tells us these things, that God decided he was going to destroy man on the earth. It saddened him. It made him sorrowful that he even created man on the earth. So he was going to start over. And it says that, but Noah found grace or favor in the eyes of the Lord. So what's going on here? Could it be true that in some sense fallen angels procreated with daughters of men, with earthly women, produced these hybrid offspring, which just perpetuated the evil on the planet? Some people think, drunkenness, carousing, idol worship, murder, theft, all of these things, God wiped out man because of it. Well, those are not really the core issue here, I don't think. Let's jump back, if you will, for a moment to Genesis 3, and we'll see the beginning of what's really happening here. In Genesis 3, the fall of man is recorded. So we have Adam, Eve, and a serpent. So Adam and Eve and the serpent are all guilty of something here. Eve was deceived into eating the forbidden fruit. She handed it to her husband Adam. He took of it. So the fall took place, the fall of man. So in Genesis 3, God shows up and tells the man, the woman, and the serpent what is going to now take place because of this disobedience. And in Genesis 3, verse 14, it says, "The Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you more than all cattle, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you will go, and dust you will eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise you on the head, and you shall bruise him on the heel." Wow. So here we have the root of the real issue here. So the serpent and the woman, their curse or their discipline is very tight, very closely tied together. So God is telling the serpent that the serpent's seed will strike the woman's seed on the heel, but the woman's seed will crush his head. So the offspring of the serpent and the offspring of the woman is what's at play here. Well, this is a prophecy, a very early prophecy of Jesus Christ. He is this promised seed that's going to take out the seed of the serpent. Now, everyone saw and heard this. No, none of this was done in secret. The serpent was declared defeated right off the bat. Now, if you're an enemy of God and you hear that your offspring is going to be defeated by the offspring of this woman, what do you think you're going to do? If you just don't want to hear that, if you're hard-headed, rebellious, and self-determined, you're going to do everything in your power to prevent the seed of this woman from coming about, showing up on the scene. And that's exactly what the Bible story is really telling us. So the serpent's seed is going to be defeated, but he's not going down without a fight. So from Genesis 3 to Genesis 6, all of a sudden, we see these fallen angels producing offspring with the daughters of men, with earthly women. Oh my. So God chooses Noah and his family to preserve the humanity and the ability to produce this seed of the woman, to finally and ultimately defeat the seed of the serpent. So throughout history, throughout the Bible, one theme that keeps reoccurring is that the serpent is trying to infect or dilute or denigrate, I'm not sure I'm getting the right word here, he's looking to infect humanity so that the seed of the woman cannot show up, because he doesn't want to be defeated. You see it in the story of Moses. When Moses is a little child, the Pharaoh is declared he's going to kill all the male children. So Moses' mother puts him in a little basket, sets him down the Nile. But God providentially cares for this little boy and even allows his own mother to raise him. He grows up and becomes the deliverer of Israel. Well, why? Because God's preserving these people, Israel, because one day Jesus himself is going to be born from this nation, from this lineage of Abraham. Amazing. So then you look in the New Testament, you see in Matthew, you see where Herod, the king, is starting to see that this prophecy about this promised one is coming, and he don't want that either. Well, on the surface, it's a earthly king wanting to protect his earthly kingdom, but behind him was a spirit, the serpent spirit, wanting to protect his spiritual authority. So he moves Herod to decree to kill all of the babies, the little boys under the age of 2. So Mary and Joseph have to flee. So Mary has this little boy named Jesus, and in Galatians, we read in Galatians 4 that at just the right time, Jesus was born of a woman under the law that he might redeem those who are under the law. So Jesus Christ, we find out in Galatians, is the seed of Abraham. He is the seed of this woman that God promised in Genesis 3. So down through the story of the Bible, we have the seed of the serpent, or we have the serpent in this battle with the seed of this woman who is Christ, who is really God himself in the flesh. So could it be that the flood, the days before the flood, God's looking at man and he's seeing all of man being corrupted by this serpent? Basically, fallen angels, this disobedient, independent, prideful, usurping mentality. So he decides, you know what? I'm flooding the earth. But he finds Noah and Noah's family. Why would Noah and his family be saved through the ark, through the flood? Well, I present to you that I believe it's because his family line had not been corrupted with these sons of God. They had not been joined, they had not been defiled by these fallen ones. So God takes his family, Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons and their daughters, and he preserves them in the ark, and he brings them out from the wickedness of the world, floods the earth. They float on top of it. They are above it. The floodwaters recede. Noah and his family come out of the ark, and they repopulate, starting all over. But, of course, that's not the end of the attempts of the fallen one, right? It's an amazing story. If we really see this, it makes us realize we're not the center of the universe. You know, humanity is deeply involved in this story and very important to the story. But ultimately, I think that the goal here is that Lucifer, the fallen one, Satan, who wanted to be like God and exalt himself above God, that one day he's going to be fully proven and convinced that God is the only God, he is just, and that one day he, like all others, will bow and will confess that Jesus is Lord to the glory of God the Father. And he won't have any leg to stand on, and he will understand that his punishment is forever and ever, and it is a just punishment. Fascinating. I would challenge you to look into these things yourself and realize that there's something much greater going on than just humanity here. And I think that we are a vital part of it. As my wife likes to say, she says, it's not about you, but it includes you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I will see you later.